Today we welcome Trade with Tim.
Micro scalper, people call me hyper scalper, whatever. As you can see on Kinfo, I have a lot of trades.
Who sits in 17th place on Kinfo's all-time leaderboard with 923,000 in verified profits.
People call it recycling shares. That's very much kind of what I do as well. Like, they don't know how to trade, but they know how to market. Those guys are really good at freaking marketing. But I would say my favorite setup is buying under $4.50, really $4.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we welcome Trade with Tim, who sits in 17th place on Kinfo's all-time leaderboard with 923,000 in verified profits. That's actually, speaking of earlier, he's past the $1 million mark, but he just needs to upload a second broker. So that million is not in sight. That million is achieved. So well done, Tim. We're going to jump into your trading strategies, industry transparency, and a few tips for new traders. I just want to quickly say first, you can get Kinfo Pro Plus for absolutely free for your first month. You just need to log in to your free account, click upgrade, and access the advanced reports and the analytics for your trades. But Tim, I was long at reduction. How are you?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. And it's been a crazy year, to say the least.
Man, it's been a crazy year for you. I'm looking at your stats. I thought you were some sort of prodigy because you've just got the 1 year on there. But that I was like, this dude's just started trading and he's a millionaire already. But obviously, tell us a little bit about your story. You've been trading a little bit earlier, but you're hitting $1 million this year, no? Very early, or $1 million in the last 12 months.
It's kind of like where I finally hit my stride in trading. You know, I feel like a lot of people say this, but for me, I'm 24 right now, and I started actually learning trading when I was 16. So I've been, kind of just like on my laptop, saw some Timothy Sykes stuff, kind of like got into that. And, really slowly over time when I was in high school and stuff, kind of kept trading. And even like my senior year of high school, I got late arrival when most kids would have like early release. I got late arrival just so I could watch the markets. And I wasn't, making anything, but I was trading sim. And that really helped me just kind of progress over time. And then I have, pressure washing business as well as an epoxy business that kind of I was able to do through college to fund my trading as well as just kind of do everything I could. I sold Amazon FBA books and, all that type of entrepreneurial stuff. Try to do affiliate marketing. And finally, after all that, the last year is really where I hit my stride. I used to trade pre-market on Trading Station. That's what we were talking about. So that's kind of what would put me over $1 million if I can get those stats on Kinfo. I tried, but I'll get it thicker. I think they closed my accounts. I just had to talk to them. But anyways, so I think I made between those 2.5 years trading pre-market, like 65, 70 grand, which at the time, still awesome money for me. Plus my side businesses was able to really do well. But I was not able to trade throughout the market open, right? So for me as a discretionary scalper, micro scalper, people call me hyper scalper, whatever. As you can see on Kinfo, I have a lot of trades.
Yeah,
a lot. Basically what I do is just play off of that price action. And it's a lot easier during the market open when there's a lot more liquidity to have a lot more trades. And that's kind of what I figured out. Whatever I met, Relentless Trader, Mighty Stocks, some of you guys probably know them, Crispy Trades, MX Day Trading, a lot of these guys that, I had seen in Discord, Relentless Trading Discord for a while, and go to meet them, kind of see for myself, and also have a week where I could trade through the market open. And that's just when everything changed. So from then on, I don't even trade pre-market at all. And I just trade throughout the market open. Really the first 2 hours are my best. And yeah, we hit the gas and I've never looked back. So
man, you just put the pedal to the metal. You just put your foot down hard on that accelerator pedal. But like, and it's obviously doing well. You've got a very nice creative background light there. So you're like living the dream, dude. It's like 24 years old, stuck it to the man. Don't need to you'll never have a boss in your life ever, probably.
Nope. That was the goal a long time ago. So
I guess the main question is, everyone else wants to stick it to the man and not have a boss. So like, what changed where you were trading pre-market to like, you've just hit like $1 million in 12 months, $920,000 in 12 months ish. Like, what did you do differently? Like, pass those lessons on as much as you can.
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of it came down to really only use limit orders, and you can really get stuck sometimes where the bids will just drop on you crazy on pre-market and you can just get killed, especially on some of them that have those big spreads. So it just always had me kind of scared, and I never felt like my risk was very tight. And I know you were talking about like, how was I able to do this without having big drawdowns? And a lot of that comes down to on most of my trading, and pretty much every trade I have now, it's getting a little more risky on very tight, and with market orders and a broker where, you can trade as many times as you want. I mean, TD Ameritrade is where I really started, and now Schwab bought them out, but it's the same thing. It's just me basically trying to push as much size as I can with how the liquidity is, make sure that I'm not getting a bunch of slippage. But I'm a dip trader. So, and I figured that out as well. It's kind of like, as I was able to take so many trades, as you can see, it's almost like it's like reps in the gym, right? I'm a big gym guy. Shout out the Strong Trader, a couple of these other guys I've met. And lifting and trading, there's a lot that goes hand in hand. So like, as you do something more, you get better, and you kind of see these little things you can improve on. And that's kind of what really helped me a lot. I was able to trade in a week. I think I was doing like 2,000 orders every week, which was the limit at TD Ameritrade at that time. And by doing that, learning on every trade, being able to refine that edge and being able to really see where am I making that money. And for me, it's a lot of those dip trades, not many breakout trades or buying at the top of the range. I like getting in either on that like first pullback or on those micro pullbacks, kind of in that parabolic squeeze. So, which market's been a little slower, but this February is kind of where I was able to really refine that edge a lot more. And we saw HOLO and BMR and a couple of these like ridiculous parabolic movers.
So like, if you had like a strategy in mind, I'm guessing like you're talking about kind of short squeezes. Are you literally looking for shorts to be basically kind of fucked when it squeezes out of control? And then are you buying the dips and following the momentum up? Is it like that, or do you have a different strategy? Or
yes, I mean, there's a lot of strategies within it. I mean, I'm talking about like buying double bottoms, triple bottoms, buying like flat top breakouts, 5-minute setups, like all those type of like setups, as well as a lot of that discretionary side, which is just me seeing price action, me seeing that, okay, this level may be soaking, which basically like I can see that there's a lot of support there. I can see that every time it comes down to this level, there are buyers that keep stepping up. I'll take it long and then see if we can get that pop, kind of, as you can see, because a lot of times there's hidden buyers or hidden sellers. Sometimes they'll pop up, but a lot of time it's just like, I know some people use Bookmap to kind of see where those are. Yeah. Over time, since I spent so much screen time and a lot of my buddies, we're able to kind of see where, that support zone is, or where there's a lot of overhead supply as well, where something's kind of keeps trying to break out to this level. It can't break it. I'll ease off, wait for that flush. And those are my best trades. I love those big bottoming wicks. I try to get in as low as I can. And my hold times, that's one thing I'm working on, but I'd usually just take 10, 20 cents, sometimes depending on like the price in the stock, it could be more than that, but I'm just taking the meat of the move, taking a very small portion sometimes, but you're never going to go broke taking profit. I always say that. So,
100%. But like, what? In fact, we'll quickly jump to an ad break, and then I'm going to give you this like big reveal. So just 1 second, we'll jump to an ad. If you're an active trader, then Centerpoint is the broker designed for serious traders like you. Centerpoint offers advanced trading tools, flexible routing options, and an extensive short inventory to give you the edge you need with next-level customer service. When you join Centerpoint, you gain access to Centerpoint Edge, an exclusive program tailored exclusively for Centerpoint clients. With Centerpoint Edge, you get free access to over $7,500 worth of industry-leading trading tools that you won't find at another broker. This includes amazing resources like Kinfo, Benzinga Pro, Trade Ideas, Dilution Tracker, and more. Click the link in the description to elevate your trading experience with Centerpoint, where active traders get more. Okay, we are back, and what I was thinking about is doing this podcast, interviewing like the top 10 traders is the most unbelievable thing that I saw. It's like, so commission-free trading had this boom, right? Commission-free, there's a boom in the last 5 or 6 years. This boom has brought a big amount of hyper scalpers like you, all right? But what I've discovered doing this podcast, and if anyone's watched the last 10 episodes before you of all of the people in the top 20, you guys are all hyper scalpers. The hyper scalpers are dominating. Kinfo, which means there's a bigger trend outside of Kinfo as well, where hyper scalpers are dominating the market. It is once scalping was laughed at and made fun of, and it was a joke. But like the proof is coming. Like you guys are an army of people taking over, and I don't know where it's come from, but I mean, do you have any thoughts on that? Otherwise, I've got another question for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can go back to I kind of skipped over this. I want to be kind of brief, but back when I started trading, I traded with F1 Trade, Sure Trader, even CMEG. I've been through pretty much everything, and at those brokers, I had commissions that were on every trade. You know, in and out, it would be like $7 in, $7 out. I mean, to make money trading 1,000 shares, you had to make 2 cents just to pay the commission, and then trying to make money on top of that. Like I remember looking at all my stats and being like, if I took out these commissions, like I was actually making money. So whenever 2020 hit and free commissions came in, thankfully by that point I had enough money to get over PDT. Once I got over PDT, I was like, wow, okay, there's without the commissions, I mean, you can make a couple cents here or there. And then, I mean, they did up the SEC and FINRA fees now, but it's still doable. So definitely a lot of people, when I tell them like what I do, they think, of course, like I'm holding companies or whatever it is. And I'm like, I just buy and sell these quick price movements. And, I know it's hard to fathom, but yeah, I would say definitely it's taken over hugely. And it's just because you can keep that wrist so tight. It's tough. And not even just the wrist so tight, you have so many reps. So it's easier to get kind of better at what your style is and where you feel more comfortable. Some people love buying high and chasing those moves. For me, I can't do it. I'm more of I'm gonna try to buy that soak zone and wait for it to go.
Yeah, it's like warrior trading, right? I see a lot of warrior trading stuff is like, buy the next candle to make a new high and stuff like that. But it just seems a little bit scary for me, especially when the stocks that you're buying are absolutely crap. But like in terms of the risk management, like what the hell are you doing? Are you like meditating for an hour every day beforehand to like not? But like, what are you doing to like not mess up?
Sure. So really what it comes down to, discipline in trading is huge. I mean, that's kind of why, like behind me, it's like half of trading is like the patterns and the charts, and the other half's the mental. And honestly, it may be more than that. I think it might be 70% mental now that I'm getting more into it, in terms of like, once you really start making money and you've got a lot of money on the line, that's where you can just, you don't follow your chart patterns as well. And you know, that type of stuff. But to get back on what you were saying, I don't know why I can't remember it. Say it one more time for me real quick.
No, it's good. I didn't even click that was 50%. That's me being an idiot. I didn't even click that's 50% mental, 50% charts. It makes full sense. But I was thinking like, what are you doing? Like the mental aspect to control your trading, or like what's the technique? Do you have it like, I'm holding for 3 seconds and I'm out, or intervention?
With my dip trading, that's why I love like buying the dips, because when I'm buying so extended, it's hard to have that proper risk. It can drop so quickly, but I like to buy, especially like big flushes, dips off of support zones, to where when I'm getting in, I know that my risk is most of the time within 5 cents, maybe 10 cents, depending on, if it's a higher price stock, okay, it might be 20, 30 cents, but it's always going to be relative to how much I think it's going to pop off of that level, at least like 3-to-1 profit to loss. So, and I can see on the tape, as like a price action trader on the level 2, I can see, okay, time of sales, a lot of people are selling here. I can see the bids thinning, type of stuff like that, where I can get out sometimes flat for not a loss, and then it'll drop and I'll get back in and then catch the move. It's kind of like I'm able to, people call it recycling shares. And that's kind of, that's very much kind of what I do as well.
Yeah, I think a good tip for people to learn that is just to record your screen and then go back and watch the records of your screen of thinking, okay, there was just a big drop there. Let's look at the level 2 for the 1 minute before the big drop and let's see what happened. And then if it happens again, the same thing's going to happen. So it's just a good tip, right?
Yeah, and I tell people, it's like, you got to treat it like, I mean, we're professional athletes, like esport athletes. And what do like the pros do? They watch film. They watch film all the time. So if you're not watching film, how are you really going to get better? Especially when a lot of us are trading, especially me, like it's so quick that I'm going to forget a lot of those trades and a lot of what happened. It's not like I'm just taking 5 trades that, okay, I can remember all of that, but I have to go back to rewatch, and that's 100% how you get better.
Man, and this scalping thing that you're doing and what the other people are like, out of the top 20 of Kinfo, like more than 10 of them are hyper scalpers. So I don't want you to give your edge away, but for someone that wants to get into hyper scalping trading, do you have like one pattern that you can share, or what one pattern that you like where you can describe like the big picture setup and then the micro entry?
Yeah. I tell this one all the time, and I think it's like one of my favorite setups. And on these setups, there's so much volume, and that's why I love trading, is that, like, you know, for the most part, yes, it's getting like crowded in certain areas, but when it comes to scalping, it's so discretionary that it's like, you know, I don't know, there's never going to be like some of these system traders. There's so many people that are taking the exact same trade.
Yeah.
But when it's discretionary, it's a little bit different. So, but I would say my favorite setup, it's buying under whole dollars and half dollars. Really, whole dollars are like going to be the best bet. So let's say you have a setup, it broke over the whole dollar, maybe up to like, let's say $7.30. And it's like kind of churning, holding high though, and like testing maybe 7.10s, comes down near 7. I like to wait for the dip under. Some people will buy like right off of 7, and sometimes that can completely be fine. Sometimes it will not break below. But the best setups for me are when it does break below, you get like a 690 wash, maybe 685. Sometimes it'll even go further. Try to take a dip. You know, usually I'm very quick, so I can get, depending on the spread, I can get near the lows, and then you just got to wait for the break back over 7. If that doesn't happen pretty quickly, I'm just going to cut it, see if it's going to go lower. And if it does, then maybe I'd kind of wait for that next hold or that next $half level. But most of the time I'm going to scalp around that range to try to see if the overall trend is actually breaking or not. So that's a lot of what scalping, especially as I'm a 100% long trader. So I definitely need to make sure that I'm seeing either really good dips being bought up on the backside, or just I'm going to trade strictly like front side dips, because that's going to be like odds of me winning are much, much higher.
And what, you look for 3-1, 4-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1 on your money?
It really just depends. I mean, there are trades where I will just take a couple. So maybe I'll always look for probably 3-1. Yeah. But it just depends on what I'm seeing on the tape. And that more often than not, nowadays, I'm trying to kind of stop and trade more bigger picture with bigger size, just because I'm seeing now that, you know, a lot of my money in the day is coming from like 3 or 4 trades. So if I can really hone in on those a little bit more and kind of not have so much noise, then I think it'll make it where I can make a lot more and it'd be a little less stressful.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And are you the type of guy that likes to support his own trades and smack the offer, smack the market order and smack the offer and support it when you're getting in? Are you hitting limits?
Oh, always markets for me.
You're supporting your offer and helping take the bid out, helping to take the ask out.
Yeah, I used to trade only limit orders, but and even in the market open, I would trade only limit orders. But for me, the speed and in terms of like where I know I'm going to get filled roughly, I can have that risk management in my head almost immediately. But on limit orders and stuff, and then I can miss a trade that could be huge because of a limit order.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to even risk that. So it's just, 100% market orders for me.
That makes sense. So you've got a stock, it's broke above 7, it's holding the 7 lane, it's dipping under. You're then watching the level 2, you're looking for that switch in the balance of power, you're hitting the market, and that's your trade, looking for the 2-1, 3-1, whatever you can get. Doesn't work straight away, you're out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving it on those trades, since I know that's kind of like one of my bread and butter trades. I would give it a little bit more time, because there's times where it'll kind of hold a little bit under that. And then if you can give it a little more time, you'll get that pop straight to 7.10. A lot of times though, I will just sell on that retest to 7, see where it's going to come back down. If it comes back down and gives me another entry, then I'm going to get back in and look for it to break. But if I see like a big bidder, then I'll hold it a little longer, or maybe, I don't know, like a huge amount of buying to where it's like really coming up quickly. Then I'll try to hold it. Like if it immediately snaps right back through 7.10, then I'll give it a second, maybe 7 for it to hold. And then you see that squeeze up to 7.20, 7.30, which is really like a big bear trap.
Yeah. No, so like last question on this, and then we'll go on to the next section on transparency. But yeah, like how did you, I mean, first of all, just with the pattern, it's just the chart. You're not looking at the news. Are you looking at the fundamentals? Are you looking at the bigger picture? Anything like that? Little you taking into account, or?
I definitely got to attest to Ross Cameron Warrior Trading. That's kind of where I figured out where the momentum is, and it's in those, stocks with the low float, high relative volume, some sort of breaking news. I don't exactly look at what the news is as much because I'm not holding it for longer in the day. And then some people look at a lot more of the dilution, just so you kind of have that as a reference. I don't look at that as much as I probably should, but I kind of strictly trade the chart and the level 2. So I would say 70% level 2. I'm looking over the chart to see what's set up. Is this a very extended dip or is this up really high? Kind of where's my risk? And then I'm going to adjust my size depending on that, right? So on a setup, like I was saying, that break below 7, I'm going to try to take more size on that than I would a trade that's like a $0.50 break below, because it just, for me, they don't seem to work out as much. And over time, kind of in my mental, I've got kind of almost like the odds of every setup, roughly speaking. But yeah, it always comes down to below $20. Usually I don't like trading the pennies as much, but my bread and butter is probably $3 to $10. And I'm trading as much size as I can nowadays without really with a market order, right? You can get slipped up pretty high trading size. So you can kind of over time, you see how much you can get in, how much you can't. And I'm trying to now on those better setups, just take, 2 clicks of my full size entry to where I'm like, okay, I'm in now the size that I should be for that A quality setup.
And you mentioned you took it's not all glory, right? Yeah, you've made like $1 million in a year. You're 24. You've got no boss. You're literally living the dream, right? But it's not always great every day. So what's the crack with? You had a red day. What happened there? What went wrong?
Yeah, so I was actually at the beach last week. First day I'm there, and in 2 hours I lost 6,000. So my biggest red day ever before that was 6,200 or something. So it's my second biggest red day ever. And what it comes down to is, when I'm actively scalping stocks, there's certain times where I can immediately feel that it's like, it's like, I always say this, like basically like when you're putting your fingers on like a chalkboard, that feeling that you get, it's like, it should not be that hard. It should not feel like that to try to make money out of this stock, when normally it's relatively easy for me to at least get some profit out of the stock by scalping it. So once I feel that and see that, then I need to just ease off. But there are days like everybody, we get emotional. We're like, I need to make this amount of money today, or I think there were 2 trades that I took that I messed up on execution wise. And that's a trigger for me. They were really good trades. I missed them. And then what I end up doing is then I chase it higher and I get crushed. And that was a day where I think I lost $1 a share on one trade and lost like $2,000 in one trade, which for me is a big outlier loss, where most of my losses are a couple $100, or I try to keep my risk pretty tight. But on that day, we're trading in stocks that are bigger spreads. And if you're not getting in at the perfect kind of spot on the dip, you can really lose a lot quickly. And then it's going to be a spiral, right? So what I try to do to nip that in the bud is, for me, my max loss is usually around that 6K mark. But it kind of depends now with how much size I'm pushing. It's more of a mental max loss. And I was for sure past my mental max loss that day. So it's better for me to come back the next day fresh. I'll go get a workout, go to the gym, and look at my overall kind of P&L and stuff to make me feel better, right? Like, appreciate all the love, man. But there are days, like every trader, no matter how much you made, if you lose for like a week straight, which kind of the 1st of August, I think I have 4 red days in 1 week, which I haven't had that in like a year. And I fell down. I really did. I mean, I was down maybe 5K overall, but I was feeling awful. I didn't even really want to go out and do much stuff, but that's another one of those things that you got to work on, right? Is like distancing yourself a little bit more from, because to be the best trader, you got to be hard on yourself, right? I'm sure you are, just like a lot of us, right? We want to be like perfectionists, but it's good to kind of put the 2 aside and not let it ruin your day, because it's not worth ruining your day when you're still in the game, you live to trade another day. Why are you letting it affect like your outside life? So,
yeah, no, it's I completely understand what you're saying, though. I mean, but trading's tough, and like even the best traders go through struggles, and you made crazy amounts of money. I've had one of the best years I've seen of people on Kinfo, like $1 million in 12 months. It's crazy, just about. And then, but then you'll still feel like total shit. And like I'll remember when I was trading more in 2020, and I was like up 15 grand, and I was having my first 15K month ever. And then I lost like $2,500 on a trade. And I remember like getting in my car because I needed to leave the house and just punching the steering wheel. And then like I bought an Apple Watch, and I was just thinking, I'm buying an Apple Watch, and like I just felt like disgusted. Just felt disgusted. Like, this Apple Watch is $1,000. Then I just lost $2,500. Like they're almost the same value, and I just felt sick, physically sick. But the other thing that I'd say is what I noticed, because like I got up over $100,000 in my trading, took a massive 35,000 loss. My pattern stopped working, and then like I just dwindled for the last like year or so. Not having the same dedication, not having the same motivation. Now I'm like lost about half of what I made. I've probably got about 50k, 45k, 50k up. But the point is, I've interviewed some people on here who got up 100, 200, lost everything, and then went to zero or under, and then made $1 million. So the point is that like you've just got to stay in the game, like got to just keep going. Do you know what I mean? And I need to keep going. I need to keep pushing. Yeah, especially if it clicks.
Yeah, what it really comes down to, I think, is like a lot of people try to switch up so quickly immediately when something stops working, but it's so like personal dependent, right? So depending on your strategy and like the type of market that you're in, certain setups won't work. And that's kind of why like being systematic compared to being like discretionary trading wise, I like being discretionary just because pretty much in any market environment, with the amount of trades and kind of like setups that I do see, I can see like what's working, what's not working, and kind of start like pushing more into what is working rather than what's not, while also keeping that risk very tight. So like my biggest loss, I made $1 million. My biggest drawdown ever is like 7,500 or I think $8,000, which for me at the time felt horrible. But when I look at it big picture, I'm like, wow, that is really, really good. I just need to let myself open up to having those bigger losses, but also having the bigger winners, because I've capped myself on my winners and my losers, which, you know, at the point that I'm at, it's like hard to complain making a couple $1,000 a day, and I never will. But you got to progress like in whatever you're doing. So it's just, and that's what's nice about trading, is that as you progress mentally and like, you know, just whatever systematically with your setups, you can make more money. That's kind of like the beauty of it. You know, sometimes you can work harder and you don't get anything for it. But in trading, in trading, you can work really hard and get nothing for years and years. Yeah. But the harder you work, it's kind of like it all builds up. There's that, you know, picture where it's like the dude about to strike diamonds or gold, and he's this close, right? And if you stop before you get there, you never know what's going to be on the other side. So, but it's the toughest thing. It is. And I'm grateful and blessed every day to be able to do what I do now. And I think the main thing, I'll say this again, is it's beautiful that you're doing this and seeing how other people trade and their mindsets. Once I found other traders and got involved in like a chat room with a lot of like-minded individuals, it was over from there. I mean, not only am I seeing like what the potential is because they're posting how much they're making, and I'm out there at work in the hot sun, like, man, one day I'd love to make that. And now being able to do that, it's just, and then posting my stuff and other people having that type of fire, it's lighting them, you know, a fire under them to work harder and know that is possible, mainly, maybe as well. So it's awesome.
Nah, it's true, but at the same time, like 95% lose, right? So like, what separates you from the guys that lose?
Well, I'd say one thing, and you know, I may get some hate for this or not really. I cut out all video games. Like, I don't play anything. And I told myself until I became like a profitable trader, I can't spend time like that. Like, especially with me being in school and having my other businesses, like I didn't have that much time, like free time to begin with. Now, COVID, I had a lot more free time, and I spent that studying trading. But yeah, it's just being relentless. Like, when I was out doing stuff, and it was almost to a bad, like an unhealthy point where I would be out with my girlfriend or out doing stuff with friends. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, should I be studying right now? Like, should I be over charts and stuff? And it was bad for sure to like always think like that, but it would force me to do that and not hang out with those people and not go out and do that and just do, you know, what I need to do, study my trades again, or look on YouTube for somebody else that may be posting their live trades or something to where I can maybe find that light bulb moment, and finally found that kind of through a whole lot of trial and error over, it's my 7th year trading. I kind of say like 4 years of actively trading, but trying to learn, it's year 7 for me. And, for some people, it may take longer than that to make kind of good money. That's why it's so tough. This trading game, it really is. So trying to figure it out and then trying to keep that edge, that's something that I even, after 1 week, right? Like, I'll be like, man, are my setups still working? Do I know how to make money? So
it's always that, yeah. But we'll go into a fun segment. I've never tried this with anyone before, but I'm going to try it with you. It's furus versus facts. Got a few questions to separate the furus from the real people, the people who tell the truth. So for you to help new traders, how would you say that you separate the real deal traders like you from these snake oil salespeople who are in the market? And we know who a couple of them are.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it comes down to, and this is what I would do, is you got to get kind of a whole view of that person. Don't just watch one thing. Like, go into and see like what all they posted. Have they ever posted like actual profit? Are they verified anywhere? Does it look like kind of more of a flashy type of thing where they've just got cars and all this, and you only need to make one trade a week or something, where it's like, I turned, a lot of this Forex stuff is like, I turned $100 into whatever, but it's just like, you can tell pretty easily, in my opinion, but I've looked at it so often. It's like, okay, is this realistic? Can I make one trade a week and actually be able to learn a strategy? So like, having only an opportunity like that, or there's kids that will never post they're just on their phone, they'll just show you a P&L, but how do you know if that's verified, right? Do you ever see them taking the trade? A lot of these guys don't even post their trades. It's just like hindsight traders. You see that on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
People post the chart and be like, this is where the best setup was. And it's like, okay, but where are your entries and exits for that? So, and they're not there, which I know there's guys that are real that do that, but there's some guys that don't. So I'd say that's kind of what I like to do. But you've always got to, in the back of your mind, be like, okay, kind of be like, is this real? And there are guys where you can really see that that's just not the case. And if you spend a lot of time learning from them, it's only going to take you longer to unlearn that stuff before you can learn what you should be.
Nah, 100%. And like, that's why Kinfo is good, because like, it separates the good traders and the verified ones. Because honestly, right, if you went on Kinfo and you told me you'd made $1 million this year and you're 24-year-old sitting in your room and you're saying, I'm doing a few bits of mentoring here and there, I would say, seems like a really nice guy, very genuine, very honest, but I don't know 100% if he's made $1 million. Like, I don't know, but like, it's undisputable because it's verified. And it's like, a lot of kids just like you are getting credibility that I don't think you would get. And that's important. Because no one believes it.
Yeah, well, then that's the thing, right? Is like, for me, if I'm posting and, people that are real verified traders, unless they have like a marketing team, it's not going to look super clean and be like super grabby. The reason why they get all these people and like people think that way is because they're so good at the marketing. Like, they don't know how to trade, but they know how to market. Those guys are really good at freaking marketing and making you believe that lifestyle that they're renting everything anyways for. It's like, yeah, it's tough because the real guys like me, like, we're not putting a lot of time into that. We're putting it into trading. So it's like, you're not going to get those viral videos for the most part because people like to see that. Like, even though they're in the back of their mind, they're like, yeah, probably a scam, but look at it, right? Like,
right, he's got loads of followers. It must be legit because look how many followers he's got, and everyone's commenting great things. But it's like, these people have managed to build a positive force and a positive energy, and everyone's replicating it. And you don't find out that a lot of it's not true until it's too late. One, because you need to put 5 years in, right? So that's 5 years of someone supporting you, and then by the 6th, they're like, all right, I'm deleting me trading account on Twitter, and that's the end.
Yeah, and for them, there's like, oh, trading's all snake oil salesman, and you can never be a winning trader. And it's like, that's what's so tough, right? It's like going to the wrong college or something, or getting the wrong degree for what you really kind of should be doing, you know, but that's also what's tough is you'll have guys that'll trade from stocks to options or to Forex or to whatever. And for me, I'm so grateful that I didn't, that I just stuck to for 7 years, just stocks and just low float stocks, just momentum stocks. Like once I found that and I was like, wow, okay, a stock went from $1 to 10. That's crazy. I got to learn, like, there's some money to be made there. And I didn't make money for a long time, and I didn't even want to tell people about it because I just lost money. But if I would have switched to Forex at that point and had to relearn and all that stuff, it's just tough, right? But to each person, like maybe that is the switch they need to do. So for me, I can't really tell you what to do, right? It's just, you kind of, no, you got to just have faith in whatever you're doing.
So would you say that there's a main Furu flag? Like a main thing that you'd like, Furu? You know what I mean? What's the main top one for you? Like that motherfucker's a Furu.
I mean, usually it's on the phone flipping around a X amount of profit with like, there's no like sense. It's just like, oh, I made 25K. And it's just like, he's never shown anything other than how much he's made. And then in that video, there's some sports car or some sort of like, you see the Lambo, right? Everyone's like Lambo, whatever. Like, yeah, 99% of the guys with those Lambos and whatever, they're renting him for that video. And maybe they did make that money one day, sure. But it's like, you know, it's tough because people don't want to do stocks because you have to have so much money. Like the barrier to entry is so tough. So they end up believing these Forex guys because they're like, well, I'm never gonna be able to save up for 25 grand. And it's tough, right? It really is. So they're selling them a dream that's just like that. I think that's like winning the lottery, being $100 to $1 million or whatever in Forex. But I don't know.
But the Lambo's not cool anymore, eh? Like a Lambo 10 years ago was like good marketing. Now I think a Lambo now is a kind of a bit of a Furu flag. Like people are like, another Lambo person. Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's changed, right? The Lambo's not cool anymore.
Yeah, like the affiliate marketing guys and all those dudes, everywhere. Guys, they all have them. Yeah. So,
but the Lambo it's been saturated, right? It's been overdone and it's not cool anymore. Like the Lambo isn't cool anymore. It's weird.
Hey, you go get a McLaren or something, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, for you, what motivated you personally to be on Kinfo, and like how much transparency is too much transparency? Have you thought about it?
That's a good question. I mean, the only reason I'm on Kinfo personally is because for me, and I'm never going to sell something because I do have, I'm part of, my it's Mercis Marcus University. I didn't create the course, but I'm a mentor, and I also have like my archive. So I have basically live commentary as well as like my trading that I do sell for people that want that, or if they buy the whole course, you can get some of those archives in that. I don't want to do that unless I'm transparent with people, right? It's like, it makes me feel bad. And once I saw Kinfo, whenever I was at Traders for a Cause last year, they gave us a free subscription, and I was like, yeah, let me use this. And the more that I did, I was like, yeah, this is exactly what has been needed in terms of like, I can show you that this is verified profits. And yeah, you can say, oh, but maybe you have another broker that you lost 900 grand on. And it's like, okay.
That's pretty difficult to do though. Like, I'm going to take all losses in this one. I'm going to take all gains in this one. It's impossible.
Okay, at that point, like, just, you can watch my trading. And it's another thing that, like, I'm transparent on Kinfo with that. And I make, compared to I've made a very, very small fraction, not even 10%, probably not even 5% of my profits overall in my life from like selling that subscription. So more of it is as a teacher, it's kind of like reviewing film. I'm doing it by myself, but if other people are asking me questions about that film and about what I'm doing, it's like me just doing it again and kind of having to describe what I'm doing, which in turn makes me better at it. So it's kind of like a win-win for me. Yeah. But in terms of being too transparent, I don't know. I mean, as a discretionary trader, I think that's where I kind of always go back to, like, I post all my trades and you could try to reverse engineer it and whatnot. But as a discretionary trader, I'm always kind of changing kind of what I'm doing compared to, or like for what the market is, as well as like overarching. I'm trying to trade less and trade just those bigger picture setups where there's enough volume and liquidity to go around for a lot of people. It's not like we're in competition. And that's another beauty of trading. I don't mind sharing my my stuff because I don't feel like it's going to be like taken from me. I have enough faith in myself and like my worth ethic to where like, yeah, maybe tomorrow it stops working, but I'll be able to figure out some other way to make it happen. Right. So.
Very nice. And I'm just going to close out. I think we're coming to the final part. Yeah. Give some fantastic answers though. I just want to close out with a few questions for beginners. So the first one is, what are the first steps every new trader should take to master risk management?
That's a good one. Yeah, I would say mastering risk management starts with that small size too, because you can't master risk when you're doing too much size, and then that emotional side of things comes into play, and you're like, you can't even really trade the setup the right way. So for sure, make sure your sizing is proper, because if you're oversizing, you're not going to be able to really properly manage your risk. And for me, I'm going to cut losses quickly. I'm never really adding on a loser ever. So that's a risk management technique that I use. I'm just never adding to a loser. I'd rather just cut it and get in lower. And also I kind of have a rule where if a stock is really dropping hard and I've lost like five in a row, that's kind of another thing where I'll either really reduce size or stop being so active and kind of switch up my, like the way that I'm trading. So to each person's different depending on what strategy they're trying to take, but it definitely, you need to be looking for, and 3-to-1, 5-to-1, I think 2-to-1, it can be okay depending on what you're trading, but you want to have that outsized reward with the tighter risk because it's less stressful. Those are the best trades for me. I get in, I call it the driver's seat position. I feel like I'm in the driver's seat and I need to let that trade work. But when I'm, for me, when I'm buying super high on a chart that's extended, I'm in there and I'm immediately scared that this thing's going to drop on me. And to really have better risk in that situation when stocks will drop $1, 50 cents or whatever, and then I'm market order, right? So even if I sell, I could still get slipped down pretty hard.
With size, yeah,
especially. So it's it's kind of like you have to have risk management compared to what your strategy is. And for me, it's cutting losers super, super quickly on almost all my trading, unless those are A quality setups. So you got to be very, there's no like set thing. And I try to not have those set things in my trading other than not adding on losers and not like, going past my max loss and that type of stuff where you got to live to trade another day. You don't want to blow yourself out in one trading day for like a month's worth of profit, which it's easy to do that. It's hard to say no.
I've done it. But in terms of the next question was resources for people getting started. But I guess if people want to trade with Tim or trade like Tim, you've already mentioned the resources. You've already said the room. I'll put the link in the description of the podcast and I'll tag you in it as well. So anyone who wants to learn more about your service or the service of the room that you're in, the way you're helping your buddies, I'll put that link and just drop me it on email at the end. Is there anything else you recommend?
For sure, like YouTube. When I first started, there was not many people on YouTube that showed like how they were actually trading. I mean, there's a lot of free resources out there. I mean, Relentless Trader streams every morning on YouTube for free his trading. There's the Trading Farmer does that too. I mean, there's guys out there as well as like me, Mighty Stocks, Relentless Trader, and there's guys that will post YouTube videos. Like I have some where you can watch a whole day of trading of mine, and you've got, I don't know, I think there's 200 videos or something where you can see me go from making $100 a day to thousands of dollars a day, and kind of the thought process that changed from that to then. So if you don't have the money, and don't feel bad. There's so many free resources out there now on YouTube. And I can attest for these guys being transparent. All of them that I just mentioned, I can attest for them being transparent. For sure, Mighty Stocks and Relentless Trader, because I know them personally, and I've met them personally, and I attest a lot of my success to meeting them in the chat room and the other people that kind of are around them, just because, man, when you're around a bunch of guys that want it like that, it's hard to not always like, have a fire up under you. Like, oh, they're beating me every day. Like I'm trying to get to that point. And then there's another guy that's way better than me that I can see, okay, I could get to him too. So, the networking from Twitter and from YouTube, and just, being active in communities is huge, for sure. Huge.
Yeah, we just had the trading farm on. Yeah, I really liked him. He's a pretty raw guy. He's a raw guy. He tells the truth. He's no bullshit. He says what's on his mind. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
Just to close out, do you have one final piece of advice, one golden nugget, and then we'll close out just with a final message from today's sponsor?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta always say for me, it's I say never give up, but you also have to be realistic. So have something on the side, try to schedule your career around trading, because you do not have to just do trading. You can definitely make money, working a job where you go in a little bit later. Because for me and for a lot of traders that I know, all you need is an hour, 2 hours. And there's guys that'll work their jobs from home and still do that. So I know it's like kind of long-winded, but never give up. If you really want to do trading, you can't give up, and you always got to try to refine. It's like bowling a perfect game. I bowl a lot, and you have to keep switching up your throw to get that perfect ball to get a strike. And depending on like how the oil is on the lane and all that type of stuff, it's just little things that you switch up until you're like, oh, that's it.
But then say if you've done like 10 straight years and you've never had a green year, is it time to wrap it, or it's because it's not for everyone, or would you just say keep going? You'll get it. If you're working hard every single day and you're not working every single day and you're watching every single day, it should come. You should see improvement.
I really think it should, if that's like where your main focus is, and if you're really like truly, when you are studying, I know there are people that'll study, but then maybe they're watching something on the side. They're not fully locked in. It's the same thing with school. Like I would do that when I was trying to study for tests because I didn't care about it that much. If you don't have a passion for it, I'll say that. If you don't have a passion for it, like a true passion to where like you're having dreams about freaking charts, it may not be for you, because 95% of people lose, and if you're not obsessed, it's hard to be in that 5%.
That makes sense. We'll close on that. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you coming on here. Fantastic to have someone in the top end of the leaderboard making so much money give the perspective and advice. And we'll close out with this message. Whoa, guys, just wait 1 second. I just do want to remind you all, the Center Point Edge offering is available to everyone. We've got the link just down below in the description. Check it out, and thanks for watching.